What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So today is an eyeshadow tutorial over the look that I'm wearing right now, which is what I'm considering to be an everyday appropriate wearable look with a twist. This is going to be something that will make you stand out, but not stand out too much. I recently asked you guys in a community post why you feel like tutorials don't get the views anymore, because a lot of creators have come out and said that they don't do tutorials anymore because they just don't get the views. And a lot of you guys felt like it's because tutorials just aren't wearable anymore. Like, people are creating too bold of a look, you know, they're too dramatic, they're too colorful, they're just not everyday appropriate for like the everyday kind of person. And I really want to inspire you guys to think outside the box and don't limit yourself. We set our own rules. Like, we define what's wearable. We define what's everyday appropriate. If it's something that you would wear, then it's wearable. If it's something that you would wear during the daytime, it's daytime appropriate. And aside from like being in a military position, there's not really a whole lot of jobs that say you can't wear this much makeup or that much makeup's not appropriate. So yeah, do you. Why blend in when you can stand out? Yeah, if you guys are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Ashley. I post videos twice a week, most weeks, and we talk about everything from makeup to skincare to hair care, all things beauty, all in one place. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to my channel and turn your bell on. And while we're talking about it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you like tutorials and want to see more like it. I know you haven't watched it yet, but you're gonna enjoy it. And without further ado, let's create this really pretty, everyday appropriate wearable look with a twist. I've already primed my eyes with the Makeup Revolution Prime and Lock, and I'm gonna try to stick to just a few things, but this video really isn't about using anything new. It's about using what you have. Like, I use this Too Faced Olive Candy. I Want Candy eyeshadow palette all the time, especially these two skin tone eyeshadows in there, and it's discontinued. So yeah, just use whatever you have. So I'm just gonna set my eye primer from the crease up to the brow bone. And if you're running short on time, you totally don't even have to do this. It just makes blending for me a little bit easier. Okay, so for the most part, I'm gonna be using the ColourPop Sweet Talk palette. I haven't even really played with this a whole lot, but this is so beautiful. I feel like it's just so unique. So I'm gonna be focusing this look around Makeup Geek Insomnia, which I just got on their website, and I don't even feel like this is sold anymore, but there are so many eyeshadows like this on the market. This is a very, very common shade now, and ColourPop actually has one called Wishful Thinking that looks just like it. So I first go into Dream Maker right here in the Sweet Talk palette, which is just a really pretty matte peach shade. Hopefully it's not getting washed out. I'm gonna take that on a Morphe M576 brush. I'm gonna show you guys my brushes along the way as well. This is gonna be the shade that's peeking out over everything else, so our transition shade pretty much. So I'm just gonna start this in the outer portion of the crease and work this all the way in the crease. So we're gonna leave that little strip right here, right below the brow bone blank. That's gonna be our bright shade. And just work this back and forth until you get the intensity that you want. So you totally don't have to do this next step if you don't want to, but I want to go in with like a middle kind of transition shade, like a transition shade into the dark brown that we're gonna be using in just a second. Because I'm afraid that if we jump straight into the dark brown from here, you might have some blending issues. So I'm gonna go into, I don't know what this means, ICYMI. I don't know, it's this shade down here. And it's just a really pretty matte, almost like a terracotta orange. I'm gonna take that on a smaller brush, so whenever I go darker and I kind of start pushing it more into the outer V, I go smaller and more dense with my brush. This is a Coastal Scents, I think it's called a Pro Fluff Brush or something like that. This is something I've had for such a long time. I'm just gonna put this in the outer V and work this into the lower portion of the crease, so still keeping it below that matte peach shade. So build this up as much or as little as you want. This is just going to help add dimension, and I am going to bring this all the way into the inner socket of the crease. So this is basically getting washed all through the lower portion of the crease. I'm going to go back in with that first blending brush that we used for the matte peach and just very lightly blend the two together, just so there are no lines. So now we're going to go into a dark brown. So I'm going to go into Feel Free, which is a really pretty, like, almost like a red undertoned dark brown. And again, since we're going darker, we're gonna do a smaller brush. So I'm gonna take this Morphe E17 brush. So I'm gonna start this in the outer V. I'm gonna start off by tapping it in and kind of working it into the lash line first. And then once I have a lot of the pigment off my brush, I then start working it into the lower crease. But again, we're keeping it lower than both of those shades that we just put on. I like to work in circular motions when it comes to actually blending it out and really softening it. But when it comes to kind of defining that border right here where it's supposed to be a little more straight, I like to take my brush and just kind of go back and forth in a line, like a diagonal line. But as you can see, it looks really not so good right now, but that's why I do my eyes first and my foundation and face makeup after it, because that way I can go in with my sponge and get really close to the eye and just kind of sharpen it and erase all the mistakes that I made because I'm not the most precise. Okay, so once you have the intensity that you want with that dark brown, you can go back in and intensify either that peach shade or the orange shade, or if you don't want to do anything, you totally don't have to. But what I'm going to do is take just a little bit of that dark, or not dark, but that darker orange shade on that second brush. I'm going to lift my eyebrow and I'm going to really slowly put this right back in where we first put it. With each shade, what you're going to find is that you're going to just lose a little bit of intensity. And this is just part of the blending process. And this is something that a lot of people cut out of their videos. And you see the end result and you're just like, whoa, why does it look so perfect? And they didn't even do much. Trust me, they're doing a lot. They're just doing it off camera. If you guys like really detailed, thorough tutorials like this and you learn from it, let's do a little hashtag in the comments. Let's do hashtag bring back tutorials, because I feel like YouTube, like the beauty community as a whole, has kind of gotten away from tutorials, and just the overall essence of learning, I feel like now it's kind of migrated over into product reviews and stuff like that. So now I'm gonna go into Makeup Geek Insomnia, and I'm actually gonna take this on my finger. I'm not gonna make this super precise. It's a really pretty teal with a reddish brown base. Like, it's so dimensional, and this is something that will look good on all eye colors and all skin tones. So I'm just gonna put this from the inner corner to meet up with that dark brown in the crease. So basically going to about the center of my eyelid. But this is just one of those shades that also matches everything. Like, I know it's a teal, and you look at it and it's like, okay, I'm not wearing a teal today, but it's just so pretty and it's so complimentary. So now I'm gonna go in with that second brush and raise my brow and blend all into the lower crease and really knocking away any of that shimmery dustiness I didn't want to be too high. And then that first brush that we used, no extra product, and blending in the high crease. Then since this brush is a little bit fluffier, I'm gonna go in outward circular motions right around the edge right here just to kind of fix all the choppiness, which I've already done that a little bit, but I just wanna show you guys how much that helps. Like, whenever you go outward towards your ear, it really helps to push the product out to where it makes it softer and like you don't see like a harsh line or not like just like blobbiness. So now I'm gonna go into a brow bone highlight. So I'm gonna take Catch Me from the palette, which is kind of like a peachy ivory shade, but it's also matte. And I'm gonna take that on an angled brush. This is a Carity Cosmetics E27. This is my go-to brush for brow bone highlight. I'm just gonna go right along that strip. I don't know if this is gonna be bright enough, but I definitely feel like that peachy undertone really matches the overall aesthetic of the eye look. And then once again, go back in with my fluffy brush and very gently just kind of blending the brow bone with that top crease shade. So I'm actually gonna skip out on eyeliner and just go right into mascara, just because I feel like eyeliner takes a little extra time and I want this to be, you know, a quicker everyday kind of look. Actually, one more thing. I'm gonna go into an inner corner highlight, and since I just want to stick to the palette, I'm gonna go into Side to Side, which is a glitter. I think it's a glitter in the Sweet Talk palette, but it's like a pinky peach. So I just go right outside the tear duct and then I meld it into the inner corner right here. Like, I meld it into the eyelid shade just so it all halos together. So I'm gonna go off camera and finish up my face and probably do lips as well, and then I'll come back and show you guys how to do the lower lash line. So yeah, BRB. Alright guys, so I'm back with the rest of my face on, but I started putting my lipstick on and I realized that there's a little tip I wanted to share with you guys, especially for those days where you don't want a super dramatic, bold look. And that is a little tip on how to make a really dark, or just kind of like an outside of your comfort zone lipstick work for you. So I really want to put on this ColourPop lippy stick in the shade Ziggy. It's this kind of like 90s cinnamon terracotta orangey kind of shade, but it's more on the wearable side. Like, it's more like, I don't know, it's a different form of a nude in my opinion. But instead of applying it directly from the tube, because that can just, I don't know, it just applies a little bit too much. I'm actually gonna get some on my finger so that it kind of smudges it out and makes it look softer and not as bold and kind of in your face. I will say it's a little bit harder to do this without a lip liner, like without that border to work with. So I definitely do recommend using a lip liner. So I'm gonna go into Dream Maker, which is that first shade that we used, and we're pretty much gonna go in the exact same order that we did on the top. So I'm gonna take a Morphe M507, which is one of my favorite brushes for underneath the lash line. So you can apply as little or as much as you want. You can smoke it out as much as you want. If you want to keep it really high and tight, don't smoke it out a whole lot. But I do like to round it up and halo it to the top. So I'm doing that diagonal motion, like that diagonal line motion. So now I'm gonna go into that second shade, and honestly, I'm just done trying to pronounce this. This is an E36 from Morphe. And I don't really mean for all my brushes be from Morphe, because I really don't like the brand as a whole. But as far as eyeshadow brushes that are pretty affordable with a variety, They're really all I know. So yeah, with this shade, I'm gonna keep it higher and tighter. So as I go darker, pretty much the same, like the same philosophy and ideology with the eyeshadow on top. Whenever I go darker and I keep it closer to the lash line, I go smaller and more dense. So I'm gonna go in with the Kokie Volume and Length Mascara because I don't really like this for the top lashes, but I really like the way it defines my lower ones. Okay, so I went ahead and applied some setting spray just to lock everything in place. And then I just wasn't feeling the matte thing. Like, I just love glossy lips. So I actually went in with the new Revlon Ultra HD Vinyl Lip Polish in the shade Act Natural. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more tutorials. And if you like my style of tutorials where it's all about learning and teaching, then make sure you comment below #BringBackTutorials if you want to see more. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one.